Indiana Fever welcome Kyra Lambert to the team. Another point guard with Sydney out, with Ari out, with Caitlin Clark's return. Who the heck knows at this point? We need some point guards on this team.
The Indiana Fever have not one, but two new point guards. We all know about Odyssey Sims, but now the Indiana Fever have signed guard Kyra Lambert to the team. But who is Kyra Lambert?
The Indiana Fever just signed a new player, and she's already making waves. Kyra Lambert got picked up on a 7-day contract, and the first thing she did, started talking about Caitlin Clark like she's the best thing since sliced bread.
Kelsey talked about culture and character with this team as they welcome all these new players in this season. Your first impressions on day one here, what that means, what that feels like.
I mean, this is a first-class organization. Everybody has been so welcoming, so nice, so kind, and just everybody is here helping each other. Just, the goal is to win. The goal is, to get another championship. So I'm really excited to be here, and I've definitely felt the love getting here, just two nights ago. So.
How do you take in all the information of new plays, new teammates, tendencies, all that in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, I mean, it's a part of the job. You study just like people study in school. You study the playbook, you watch film, you do your due diligence as far as, who you know, knowing your personnel. So, again, just doing the work.
Do you have any familiarity with players on the team now, your new teammates, or is this all everybody new?
It's pretty much new. I mean, I've played against a couple of the players on the team from years.
Let's be real here. Most people had never heard of Lambert before this week. She's been playing basketball overseas in places like Greece and France. Not exactly household names in American basketball. But here's the thing. She just finished a season where she averaged 15 points and shot 42% from three.
Homestand, but before practice, they added to the roster yet again, and no surprise, it came at the point guard position, the place where they have a gaping hole at the moment due to injuries. Kyra Lambert, the latest member of the Indiana Fever, she will wear number 15 and presumably here soon make her WNBA.
The Fever needed bodies. Sydney Colson is hurt. Ari McDonald is out for the season, and Clark is still recovering from her groin injury. So they went shopping in Europe and found Lambert. Lambert is on a 7-day trial. That's basically the professional sports version of a job interview. So what's the smart move? Talk up the biggest star on the team, get the fans on your side, show you understand what this team is about. Lambert's resume isn't terrible either. She's been grinding overseas for years. Greece, France, Latvia, New Zealand, Slovakia, Turkey. She's seen more European basketball courts than most Americans have seen tourist spots. Her college career at Duke and Texas was solid. 6.8 points, 3.2 rebounds, 2.7 assists. She's more of a facilitator than a pure scorer.
Lambert has never played in the WNBA before, yet the Fever did have room to add another player on a hardship deal. So Lambert, it was announced by the team, has been brought in. This is what the press release itself says, so I'll let them set the context for you. The Indiana Fever have signed guard Kyra Lambert to a 7-day contract the team announced today. The Fever qualified for the roster spot due to the injuries to Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald. Lambert has spent the entirety of her professional career playing in Europe, most recently with Olympiacos, where she won the Greek A1 League. During that season, Lambert averaged 15.4 points per game while shooting 42.1% from beyond the arc. Good.
Here's where the stats get confusing though. Some reports show her shooting 26% from three in Greece, not 42%. That's a pretty big difference. Either way, she's got range, but consistency might be a question mark against WNBA level defense.
But she's a 5'9" point guard who averaged 8 points per game in Greece? How shit must Odyssey Sims be? No, man, we're not doing this. Oh, I think we're done. I think we're done, man. I think the season's done. We got the 17th best point guard in EuroLeague.
Lambert brings some useful skills. She can run an offense. She averaged over 6 assists per game in Greece. She can defend, and she can hit open shots when needed. That's exactly what the Fever need while Clark is out. The timing here is perfect. Clark is expected back within the next week or two. If Lambert can prove she fits the system in that short window.
Head coach Stephanie White also credited Breon January, who knows people everywhere, including overseas, for recommendations and using their contacts to go find and hear about and look into players that could benefit them. Because right now, right, it's slim pickings ultimately, right? You're dealing with players that are not under contract with any of the 13 teams. You're going out and signing free agents. It was Ari McDonald. Now she's out for the season. It was Odyssey Sims. Then they added more here with Kyra Lambert signed to a 7-day hardship contract going into Friday's game against the Washington Mystics. So now it's the same old thing like they've had to do several times already this season. Go find a player, get her here, then see what kind of quick study she can become and see how quickly she can integrate within the flow of things, not being disruptful, but instead maybe be an asset, give you 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever you need.
She might stick around even after Clark returns. But here's what makes this whole situation fascinating. Lambert's public praise of Clark shows just how much this team revolves around one player. Without Clark, they're signing players from overseas just to fill roster spots. With Clark, they're talking about making playoff runs. Head coach Stephanie White was surprisingly honest about this signing. She admitted she didn't know much about Lambert before bringing her in. It was assistant coach Breon January's overseas connections that made this happen. That tells you how desperate things have gotten. They're signing players based on recommendations from coaches who know coaches. And honestly, Lambert's approach was smart. She's on a 7-day trial contract, which means she has about as much job security as a substitute teacher. So what does she do? She immediately ties herself to the biggest name in women's basketball. It's marketing by association, and she executed it perfectly. The bigger picture here is pretty clear. The Fever's struggles without Clark have been obvious to everyone watching. Their recent games pulled in disappointing ratings. When your biggest draw is sidelined and your replacement is someone most fans have never heard of, you need all the positive publicity you can get. Lambert's got her work cut out for her though. The WNBA is faster, more physical, and way more competitive than European leagues. Those 15 points per game in Greece might translate to 8 or 9 points in the W if she's lucky. The defensive pressure is more intense, the athleticism is higher, and the margin for error is much smaller. But if Lambert can do what she did overseas, facilitate the offense, play solid team defense, and hit open shots when the defense collapses, she might actually stick around longer than 7 days. Here's something that makes this situation even more interesting. Lambert's praise of Clark isn't just good PR for her personally, it's setting up a potential storyline for the league. Imagine Clark's first game back with Lambert running the point for the second unit, getting Clark open looks and hitting shots to help seal wins. The WNBA social media team is probably already planning the highlight packages. Lambert also showed she understands team culture in her interviews. She talked about how welcoming the organization has been, how everyone is focused on winning, and how she fits into their run and gun style. Those might sound like generic talking points, but they matter when you're trying to integrate quickly. For the league, Lambert's signing and her immediate praise of Clark keeps the biggest story in women's basketball alive while Clark recovers. Every interview where someone talks about how great Clark is maintains that buzz and keeps casual fans engaged. And for Lambert, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. She's got maybe a week to prove she belongs at basketball's highest level. If she can back up all that Clark praise with solid play, she might earn herself a longer contract. Lambert handled her first media session like a pro. She praised the right player, said the right things about team culture, and positioned herself as someone who can help rather than compete. Whether she can back it up on the court is the real test. The next few games will show us if Lambert can play as well as she talks, but she's already won over the media and probably some fans with her approach.